All right, so now we finally get to do this. This is finished flashing, and we can see if we go over to Explorer or whatever this is called, and we can see in the side too it says NixOS GNOME, and you can see all these little files here. So yes, I believe that this flashed successfully. So now what we get to do is reboot this computer and boot up to this USB drive. Now this part of it will vary depending on your computer. So this is a Dell, and so when it reboots, I'm going to want to hit F2. Like as soon as I see the Dell logo, I hit F2, and it gets me into the BIOS, BIOS. So every PC should have a BIOS. It's different. I know a lot of HP computers, it's F10 to get into the BIOS. I think some Lenovo ThinkPads, you hit escape or delete. You might have to look up, how do I get into the BIOS of my device. So I'm going to reboot this one. And I'm going to try to, hopefully the screen sharing works here. It'll be easier on yours, but because I am, okay, restart. Because I am trying to screen share this as well, I had to be real fast about this. All right, let's see. Restarting. All right. So as soon as I see the Dell logo, I'll try to get it onto the screen. All right. Let's see. Did it work? Did it work? Did it work? Yay! So it worked. Okay, so this is, and every BIOS is going to look a little bit different as well. So again, this is the part that's hard to advise you on without knowing your exact computer. So this is the one that looks like for a Dell Latitude. Sometimes it can look like you have to use the arrow keys to get around, but they all have the same basic thing. And I'm going to show you what to look out for. So for this particular one, the first thing we need to do is go into Secure Boot. So Secure Boot is like a Microsoft-y thing that they don't want you to boot other things. they want to try to secure the boot process for you. Let's see, this is hard to do because I can't see it here. All right. So enable. So again, I don't know. This looks a little bit different depending on what kind of device you have, but I'm going to uncheck Secure Boot. That's the gist of it, is that you need to disable Secure Boot, which will let you boot to whatever you want. So it doesn't mean that your computer's any less secure. It just means that we're going to put something else that's not Microsoft on there, much to their chagrin. All right. The other thing, as I know for this computer, most computers you don't need to do this, but I do happen to know, because I've done a bunch of these computers, that there's also something called, for SATA operation. SATA is the hard drive. That's the way it interacts with the hard drive. And some of these have like RAID, which is like a weird Intel, Microsoft-y kind of thing. And again, we don't want that. We just want AHCI. And this is going to yell at me too to say, oh my God, are you sure? Yes, quite sure. All right, and that's it. Those are the only two things that we need. So I'm going to hit apply here. This is slow motion because I'm using the laptop but looking at the screen. Okay. Now, I'm going to exit and it's going to reboot again. And what I need on the reboot is, now I need to be able to select like my boot device. Now, I think we can actually go in. Maybe I'll do that here. Let's see if I can. You can change your boot sequence as well. So you can either just kind of manually do it. Oh, here, I need to move my, of course, my face is right in the way. There we go. But yeah, so we can say, okay, see our UEFI SanDisk, that's our USB drive. All right, I can highlight that, and I should be able to put that as number 1. Okay, and basically that means that when I reboot the computer, it's going to reboot to that USB drive. The other way that you can do it is on most computers, it's F12. So as it's booting up, like you see the Dell logo, you know how you hit F2 to get into BIOS. When you see the Dell logo, you hit F12 usually. And again, it varies from computer to computer, but it's mostly F12 that says like, oh, give me my boot options. And then you can select it from there too. So yeah, I'll just press OK to here. And then we exit. All right, and here we go. So I'm going to do the F12. Even I shouldn't need to because I did the... Okay. Hopefully the video caught it again. Oh, let me move my face up here again. Cool. Yeah, so this is what this is going to look like if you hit F12 to boot up to, you know, whatever you want. And sure enough, it says the SanDisk Partition 1, UEFI. Basically, that's your USB drive. So that's what you have plugged in. And so I just want to press. And yours might not say SanDisk. That's the brand of it. So here we go, NixOS. And so what I'm going to do is just press OK for the installer. And away we go. You've really done the hard part already. The hardest part is getting into the BIOS and figuring out which things to flip. And in 99.9% of the times, it's just disabling secure boot. Sometimes you got to go ahead and like disable the RAID feature if it's enabled, but that's pretty rare. These latitudes are a bit strange like that. And honestly, it's funny, in Linux, a lot of times the older the computer, the better off you are with it. So, all right, so here we are. So now we're booted up into the installer. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. It's actually, here, hold on one second. It's extending my display. Hold on, let me try to mirror it. Basically, it's using this as like a whole other monitor. This should be easy to switch though. Mirror. Keep. All right, cool. Right. Look at that. Even the Linux installer is smart enough to know about multi-monitor. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is connect to the internet. So what I'm going to do is click up on this little battery icon up here. Oh, once again, my face is in the way. Story of my life. All right, I'll move that over here for now. And I'm going to click on this and choose the Wi-Fi. And then, you know, choose whatever Wi-Fi you need. All right. And then just hit connect. And just wait a second while this finds it. Cool. And then it should clear out the error message. If you see something that says there's no drives to install on, that's a surefire bet that like the SATA operation thing is probably wrong. Like it's maybe a RAID's on or something like that. Or for whatever reason it can't see your hard drive. That's, you know, obviously not good either. So we're going to hit next here. All right. You choose whatever time zone that you're in. Check. Choose your keyboard layout. Your username. I'm going to keep this real basic. So I'm just typing user. I'm not going to require strong passwords, and I'm going to use the same password for my administrator account. I recommend you do the same thing. So whatever password that you use, if you want to set this up for like multi-user and you want to have a bunch of people logging in, most people don't. So I don't recommend it. So yep, just choose password. Here you actually can choose like what desktop you want, but because I have this all figured out for you, you're just going to click on no desktop. All right. And now we're also going to click unfree software. And again, that doesn't mean things are going to cost actual money. This has to do with like basically like Spotify and stuff like that. Like technically it's free as in free money, but it's not technically free open source software like you would know it. So anyway, Linux freedom fighter stuff. You don't need to do this. Okay, so we'll see. So, you know, this is where your hard drive is. Again, it should automatically select it, so not a problem. And we want to do erase disk. And then you'll see it has some options here. My recommendation is to just hit that and do swap parentheses no hibernate, and you'll kind of see what it's going to do. You don't care though. So let's go and then click install. All right. So now what it's doing is it is going to install NixOS, which is a Linux distribution. It literally pulls it down from the internet and builds it right on your system right now, which sounds like it would take forever, but it really doesn't. Thanks to how lightweight and fast this is. So I am going to pause it though because it might take a few minutes, and you don't want to just stare at me for a few minutes while this happens. But yeah, this should just do its thing. If you want, like it. By the way, it will go to 46% and then sit at 46% for a long time, and that 46% is when it's downloading the packages. So like if you go and you toggle your log, you can actually watch it if you want to actually see progress. So it will actually, show you the progress of what it's downloading here. But we don't need to watch this right now. So I'm going to pause this until it's complete.